Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church again. And here I am at the end of the week. Got a weekend coming, and I hope you got some good plans, and I hope they work out, and I hope that you have a great time. I want to continue talking in Matthew here, just a fairly short passage, but it's a very powerful one. We find it in Matthew chapter 19 and verses 27 through 30. Here's what we read. Now, this is after uh, Jesus has blessed some people and has done some great things. And then Jesus said to him, "We've given up everything to follow you. What will we get?" Well, let me stop there a second. It seems like Peter's question is pretty self centered. And it is, but it's also pretty normal. You, me, other human beings always want to know what's in it for us. If I'm going to sacrifice this, what am I going to get back? Our whole economy is based on that. I'm going to invest in this, and what am I going to get for it? We're just brought up to believe that my giving something is going to get me something, and that is all that matters. If we don't get enough, well, we'll go somewhere else and get it. And unfortunately, some people do that in their church shopping. If they don't get enough out of it to suit them, they'll look somewhere else without recognizing they're not supposed to get something out of it per se. They're supposed to just worship the Lord and then see what happens. But Jesus goes on to say, after Peter said, "What do I get out of this?" I assure you that when the world is made new and the Son of Man sits on his glorious throne, you who have been my followers will also sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And everyone who's given up houses or brothers or sisters or fathers or mothers or children or property for my sake will receive 100 times as much in return and will inherit eternal life. But many who are the greatest now will be the least important then. And those who seem least now, they'll be the greatest. Jesus is trying to tell Peter, and as a result, trying to tell us, there is something you'll get by following him. Yeah, there really is. However, you can't really measure it in this world's terms. He says here, I assure you that when the world is made new and the Son of Man sits on his throne, you have been my followers, will also sit on the throne. Well, forgive me if I kind of scratch my head and go, uh, huh? When I'm asking what I'm going to get for something, I don't mean later. I mean now. I think I deserve it. If I'm giving this, I ought to get back something. But Jesus says we do get back something. We get to inherit eternal life. Now, here's the problem. A nice sofa I have seen, probably even sat on. A new car, I can smell it. But the kingdom of heaven and eternal life, no. The only way I can see those is with my heart. I can't see them physically. I can't touch them physically. But yet they are more real than those things that I can touch and feel. Heaven is not just a euphemism for something nice. It is the epitome of wonder compared to here and the other alternative. Maybe you find yourself sometimes like Peter and you're feeling like, I'm not getting much out of this walking with God stuff. Well, let me make a couple of suggestions here. Number one, make sure you're really giving something. You know, you could put the Hope Diamond right here on my desk and it wouldn't mean much to me. Why? Well, I don't really want it. But secondly, my world isn't centered around things, or at least I try not to do that. My world is centered around people and the goodness of God. At least I hope that's what it is. But there are many, many people who live in a different world than I live in. If you're not walking with God in your daily life, you're living in a different world. Not, not so much your world is bad, but it doesn't have any future components to it. Mine does. And why does it? Because I trust God. I know that in the end, He wins. And I want to be on the winning side. So when He says, but many who are the greatest will now be the least, and those who seem to feel important now, well, not much good's going to happen to them. Having an attitude that puts people first rather than me changes the way I relate to the world. Oh, yeah, don't misunderstand. I may not be able to accumulate the kinds of goods and things that the very wealthy have. I may not. And that's a consequence of walking with God. But on the other hand, what I do have, I get to share. I get to share because the kingdom of heaven is about everybody having and nobody needing to go get. That God provides for us in ways that you and I will never imagine. So Jesus is trying to reassure this guy and trying to get through to him, not so much what you get, but here's what's here. You gonna take it or not? I don't know how you have approached life. I can't tell you what you've done. I can only speculate on mine. But I've tried to seek God and all that He does. I hope you have too. Thanks for listening. If you have a need or concern, let us know. We'll do whatever we can as fast as we can to help meet your need. Thanks so much for listening. I'll be back next week. Have another idea or two to share. And I hope you have a wonderful and blessed coming weekend. I'll talk to you soon.